3 years alcohol free. Hey team, and welcome to this week's episode of The Inspired Show, the show that is dedicated to helping you become the best version of yourself, mentally as well as physically. In this week's episode, we're talking about my journey to giving up alcohol, why I did it, how I did it, and how it's benefited me. But before we go into today's session, if you're not done so already, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you get updated with every single episode. Give this a big thumbs up if you find it helpful. Let me know any big takeaways and questions you have, and please share it with somebody that may benefit as well. Also, in the captions, you've got access to our content through our social media pages and our exclusive community as well, so make sure you check that out. 3 years alcohol free. Why did I decide to give up alcohol? Well, for me, alcohol was having a profound impact on my life. Mentally, physically, emotionally, relationship-wise, work-wise, energy-wise. It simply wasn't serving me. It wasn't doing me any good whatsoever. A few years ago, I was overweight, I was out of shape, I was unconfident and low on energy. So I decided to pinpoint exactly why I was feeling like that, why I was looking like that. And it all came down to my stress management. When I was stressed, when I was overwhelmed, I was using alcohol as a way to deal with that. And whilst it felt good in the moment, it was having a massive knock-on effect where I'd end up consuming too much alcohol, I'd then end up binging on food, I'd have a poor night's sleep, I'd wake up the next day feeling like absolute crap with no energy, no get up and go. And it was starting to impact a lot of areas, not only for my own physique, my own well-being, but my relationships and my productivity and work as well. And whilst alcohol has always been a bit of an issue when it came to the amount I drank, it got worse and worse and worse. It went from a couple of times a year to every few months to every month to a couple of times a month. Then it became a weekly occurrence. And that's when I realized something had to give. I had to make a change because using alcohol as a way to deal with my stresses, my overwhelms, simply wasn't serving me. It was taking me further away from my values, my goals, and the person that I wanted to become. So I decided I had to give it up. And it wasn't just a case of minimizing alcohol, because I tried that in the past. And whilst it worked to a certain extent where drinking was less frequent, it would always creep back in. So I made the decision that I was going to stop drinking and I was going to knock on its head. How did I do this? Well, the first way I did this was I got really clear on the reasons why I had to give up alcohol. Exactly how was it impacting my life right now? So I went into great detail on what areas of my life was being impacted, how was it impacting it, and what I'd be able to achieve. I was able to overcome that. So what I was actually doing is I was grounding myself in the reasons why I need to make these changes. And I made these changes and reasons so powerful that on the days when I was really, really stressed and really craving that gratification from the alcohol, it would allow me to keep going when the going gets tough. So that's the first thing I did. The second thing I did was I was realistic with my expectations. I said to myself, I may fail on this, but failure isn't final. And the first few times I tried to give up, I did fail. But on the last time, which led me to this 3 years, we were able to learn from those failures. So one thing I learned from those failures was seeking support and help. So a couple of things I did was, firstly, I invested in myself. I got myself a mindset coach that could help me identify my triggers and build better coping mechanisms around my stressful situations. We started identifying the triggers at work, the triggers in my life, the environment triggers, and the triggers in my relationships. Once we identified that, we looked at what we could do to minimize these triggers from happening, eliminating certain stuff from my life, but also having better coping mechanisms to deal with that. For example, going out for walks, listening to some music, spending time with loved ones, working out, are all my go-tos to deal with my stress to this day. On top of that, I actually visited a few AA sessions to get some insight on the issues around alcohol. And whilst I did attend 3 sessions, I didn't really feel it was for me. But it's very insightful and really great to hear other people's perspectives. And one thing that stuck with me was what a lot of people said, that your brain will always trick you into thinking that you'll be able to manage your alcohol. And that's something that I'd experienced quite a lot in the past as well, where I'd say to myself, it's okay, I could have one drink, but that one drink led to 2, then to 3, and then before you knew it, the whole crate was gone, and I was raiding the cupboards, over-consuming junk food, and then waking up feeling even shitter the next day. So attending these support meetings was super, super important. The next thing I did was I took it one day at a time. I wrote in my journal how many days I'd been without alcohol, and I gamified it. I made it into a little bit of a challenge for myself. Like, how many days could I go without drinking alcohol? And lo and behold, to this day, I'm still counting those days, day in, day out. It's something that keeps me accountable. It allows me to reflect, and it allows me to be grateful for everything I've achieved since giving it up. And that for me is a very powerful tool. And they're the main things that I did to give up alcohol. Now, was it easy? No. There are days, and still some days, where I feel, ooh, I'd really like a drink right now. But I remind myself of the consequences. Like, what will happen if I have that drink? What will be the knock-on effect of the instant gratification? And what starts to happen is you start to build in habits and rituals around that, and you start to build in discipline. And it'll work really, really well. Now, will I fail in the future? We don't know. We can never say never, but all I can do is try my best and keep doing the things I'm doing in order to stay on track, using my support network around me, my friends, my family, my clients, the people I strive to inspire every single day. And what have the benefits been of giving up alcohol? There's loads, absolutely loads. The first thing is the stronger bonds and relationship I have with my loved ones, my partner, my daughters, my friends, my family members. I'm much more present with them in the moment. I'm much more engaged, and we make much more amazing memories. My energy and productivity has gone through the roof. My sleep is impacted as much, which means I'm waking up the next day with a lot more energy and get up and go. Don't get me wrong, as with anybody, I still get the days where I'm tired, and we've had a busy day, and I want to extra lie in, but not half as much as when I used to drink alcohol. My physique has changed. With the reduction of calories, with the more energy, I'm able to stick to my nutrition 10 times better. I'm able to keep up my movement 10 times better. And that is shown in my physique. I'm the leanest I've been for the longest ever. Whereas before I used to fluctuate between weight, now I'm a lot more consistent with that. My performance in the gym is better. I'm running faster, I'm running further, I'm lifting heavier. And I'm serving my clients better. In my work life, I'm able to show up for my clients a lot more. I'm able to provide them a lot more value and support them in the areas they need supporting in as well. But the most important thing for me is I'm setting an example to my children. I'm not allowing my children to see me using alcohol or food as a way to deal with my stresses or emotions. And I'm using more productive things because I know kids are like sponges. They pick everything up. So hopefully my story has helped and potentially inspired you to make some changes if you're using alcohol or food as a way to deal with the emotions right now. And I understand it is tough, it is challenging, but you have the power and capability within you to make these positive changes if you're willing to do that. And if you need any help with that, my inbox is always open. So thank you so much for joining in for this different episode of The Inspired Show. As always, have an absolutely amazing day, and I'll see you in the next episode.